Folks, welcome to the Contrarian Report. This is Robert Desmond. Let's begin this week with a rundown of what topics we're going to cover. And the first is going to be, and you're not going to hear this from my competition out there, it's how to take a loss. And for those who believe that these services, you go on their websites and all they tout are their winners, that they never take losses, you're sadly mistaken. Of course they have losses. They just don't want to speak about them. My opinion is that you learn more from your losses than you do from your winners. So we're going to touch upon REGN, the games that got played by management with this stock and how to survive when you short a massive gap up like this. So REGN, the analysis of this short trade, is going to be our focus stock as we go into the coming week. Also, the stocks on our radar screen, I'm going to do a rundown on SBS, which is Compañía de Saneamiento. I believe it is a utility company. Yes, it's a water utility company. Holly Energy Partners, extreme overbought stock. SNX, computer peripherals, traded on the NYSE, overbought stock. USHS. I touched upon this one last week. This one still remains on our radar screen. We like it a lot as a short, and I'll be touching upon this one once again. SATS, which is EchoStar Holdings Corp. CIE, which is Cobalt International Energy. I touched upon this one as well last week. PAA, Plains All American Pipe, and that is NYSE stock, and that's an oil well services company. And one common trait that I'm seeing is that you're starting to see a number of these oil well services and equipment stocks and utilities take up my extreme overbought screen. The last stock, which is nearing extreme oversold levels, is Willis Group Holdings, and that's financial. Let's begin with the analysis of REGN, the trade. We had a short position in REGN as we went into the coming week. Now, of course, I take a look at the earnings dates to make sure that that isn't going to conflict with my trade. I really don't like to be long or short of a stock as it heads into earnings. So the date for earnings release, which was listed on Yahoo Finance, was the 21st of February. So I had plenty of time. So I'm heading out to Montauk. I get an email, not this Friday, the prior Friday, from a fellow member stating that the earnings date had been changed from February 21st to the 13th, which is that Monday. So even if I wanted to cover my entire position, there was no way I could do it. So it was obvious what had happened is that management decided that they were going to squeeze the shorts. It's my own opinion. I have no evidence to prove it, but let's face it, you have a huge short interest out there, 7.5 million shares. You want to spark that. You want to get that spark going, and the bank certainly helped them with all the upgrades. And if you take a look at Monday's volume, you had extremely high volume with about 4.5 million shares that were traded that day. Now, I wasn't happy about the change in reporting dates, but it was what it was, and you need to be a big boy and you need to evaluate how you're going to manage your position. So I sent out an email to members on that Monday, and I'll give you the brief rundown. Okay, no surprise that the shorts are getting squeezed in the REGN. It was predictable. I was being cynical. REGN management saw a big short interest, sent a press release after the markets closed on Friday that earnings would be on Monday rather than 2/21 as scheduled. As I mentioned, I have no intention of reacting to this knee-jerk reaction. I don't like getting played by management like this, but such is the life of a short trader. You need to be a big boy. You need to be accountable. So the question now becomes, how do we turn chicken poop into chicken salad? First, we do not panic. You never panic. We stick to our game plan. We look at history, and we have seen time and again that REGN has topped out with huge topping tails before correcting hard. I would like to see that, and if we could, I would add to this position, but not until I am sure that we have a reversal, meaning a key reversal on the day. Stay tuned for the final hour of trade. If I add to this position, it would be during that time frame, and only if we have a substantial topping tail on REGN, or even better, a key reversal. That key reversal never came, and I wasn't surprised by it. So, how do we play this? My members knew how I was going to play this trade Monday morning. We did get somewhat of a topping tail. You can see it here, but it wasn't enough for me to add to positions, because what they don't show you, and this is why it's so important. This is my Forex. Take a look at the announcements. You had Piper come out on the 13th. They raised their price targets to 89 after earnings. Bank of America upgraded. A number of banks upgraded the stock. Deutsche raises price targets. None of this you'll find on Yahoo Finance. This is why you need a very, very good trading platform, because this is where you really get your good news feeds. You can't depend upon Yahoo Finance. So, we had our spike up. We knew that the shorts were being squeezed. We identified it for what it was, a short squeeze. We were not going to get squeezed out of it. We were going to turn chicken poop into chicken salad. So, we watched, we waited. Sure enough, on Tuesday, the stock began to melt down. What I had hoped, let's go down to a intraday chart. Here's your gap up, topping action, and then on Tuesday, it just broke. I had hoped to see an attempted rally back up to the 116.93 level, a failure, and then I could add more of a short position on REGN and average up my price pyramid-wise. I didn't get that opportunity. The stock just fell apart. So I decided to take half of the position off the table on Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon, because on a 15-minute chart, you can see that on Friday morning, we had a nice reversal, rallied midday, pulled back to the 103 level. I knew 102.50 was support, previous resistance. So I didn't want to take the chance of this stock rallying while we remain with a full position short. I would rather it rally, maintain my half position, then the stock, which I covered here, that half position, I could then re-add back in at higher levels, average my cost back up again without utilizing as much of my capital reserves, and then hopefully get a pullback down to either retest the 102.08 level, which would be a profit area for me, or even better, a breakdown below that and we head into the high 90s. And that, I think, is very, very likely to see on the high 90s in REGN. And if we break down on Monday morning, we're still short, and we still have a good potential to make profits if we head down to the 90s. Our basis cost on this is 101 and change. So we took a small loss, but what's key here? What lesson do we learn? Never, never, ever react to the knee-jerk reaction. The knee-jerk reaction was that the stock was going to 140 because there were all these banks that were coming out and raising guidance. You can't pay attention to that. The stock was at extreme overbought levels. We didn't forget why we went short of the stock. It was at extreme overbought levels. This only pushed us further into extreme overbought levels, and the probability of a pullback was far greater than the stock heading to 140 like Deutsche Bank predicted, or as 130, which is what Bank of America predicted. Bank of America came out. I sent this out when Bank of America came out with that upgrade. Bank of America came out this morning with a price target on REGN of 130 versus the previous 105. Now you know, think about this. Where was Bank of America before the earnings report? I don't have an account with Bank of America. Why are they so good enough to provide me this information if they weren't trying to manipulate the market higher in REGN? This is a service that they provide. And you know what? You have dumb money out there that chases these reports higher when the stock is this overbought. Look at the RSI. It was as high as 91. And look at this pullback. This is what you would have gotten had you listened to Bank of America. This is what you would have gotten, this beating here most of last week, had you listened to Deutsche Bank. So please, I beg of you, you cannot listen to these upgrades. You cannot listen to these well-dressed thugs on Wall Street. Management of REGN, the crap they pulled on this stock, It's incredible. It's stuff that it's the thing that movies are made of. So we took a small loss on it, but it's a lesson learned. I'm actually proud of the trade, to be honest with you, because I didn't react. I could have taken a loss up here at 116.93. I would have been out thousands. Now I'm out far less money because I waited. I showed discipline. I mentored my members on how to handle this trade, and had they listened to me, which a number of them did, they would be sitting okay now. If they got in at my basis cost, they'd be down $2 on the trade. Big deal. Let's move on to our extreme overbought stocks. The first is SBS. We have an RSI in this stock of 85.08, topping tail on Friday on the chart. But you have your up volume. It's still very, very high. So this is not a stock that you want to touch yet. It's very, very close. And what I'll be doing with members, and if you want, on Sunday I'll be putting together my members video, and I touch upon all these stocks, but in far greater detail. Intraday analysis and weekly/monthly analysis for historic resistance and support levels. We need to identify that before we get involved with the trade. And I'll be discussing this in great detail with members. So if you want to see that video, subscribe to the 14-day free trial offer. Prices are going up soon. We're almost done with the remake on the website. They're going up soon. I got to pay for that, my new expenses. So please, if you're a member now or you join today, your price, when I raise the rate, it will not be going up on you. You'll be grandfathered in. Next stock, HEP, Holly Energy Partners. This one's really nice. Get an RSI of 92.49. A little bit of a topping tail at the 63 level. Had volume roll in. Volume is still relatively high. So this one, although the RSI is quite nice, and it could very well break down on Monday, discipline has showed me it's best to watch and wait at this point, because my indicators are telling me that it's not quite there yet. It's going to meet my requirement to get short of this stock. And again, let's go back to REGN. We were adding in increments. Had we gone short all at once back here with no capital reserves left to add to positions up here, we would have been beaten to death. I might have had no other choice, especially if you're on margin. You have a partner. It's called a broker, and they're the senior partner. And they'll get you out of that position nothing flat. That's why it's so key to keep your position building disciplined. Build a position in increments and maintain your capital reserves and try to stay off a margin. Because if you have an account with whatever institution, TD Waterhouse, Merrill Lynch, whoever it is, they are your senior partner if you are on margin, and I hate that. So Holly Energy, good stock. I like it. I will be touching upon it. Let's move on to SNX. This is a computer peripheral stock, RSI 85.85. Great uptrend line. A little bit of resistance at the 40.38 level. Volume is still in an uptrend. Got to watch that volume, folks. Okay. There's a couple of things here that make me a little bit more bearish on the stock. So this is one that we're going to be watching very, very closely. Synex Corp symbol SNX. And all these stocks we'll be watching closely. USHS, I mentioned this one last week. The stock, we actually shorted this a couple of weeks ago, as a matter of fact. And we took profits on it. Thank God we did. Let me go to my annotated chart of this stock. Okay. We went short of, you could see the RSI on USHS was very, very high back here. And I started building a position as we were touching this upper band of the rising uptrend channel. And we had the breakdown. I would have stayed with the trade had it not been for this massive bottoming tail here and a close above this secondary uptrend line. So what did that tell me? It told me that there were buyers willing to build this stock back up, and I covered the position. It was a small profit, but a profit is a profit is a profit. More importantly, I didn't get squeezed out of this stock. And look at what would have happened if I would have ignored this bottoming tail here. I would have been squeezed to death on this stock, and it would have hurt. But I like the stock a lot more now than I even did back here. So I'm excited about it. More than likely, we will be trading USHS short in the coming week. Cobalt International Energy, I mentioned this last week. you could see the action was quite bullish for the week. The RSI is at 91.69. You have somewhat of a doji formation on Friday on the candlesticks. How's our volume? Down volume came in relatively good, but it was almost unchanged on the day of the stock. MACD's looking good. So this one's very close to us shorting it. So I like CIE. This is one of the top, let's say top three. USHS, CIE are so far the top two of our top three. Plains All-American Pipe. This one I like as well as a short. RSI is at 86. And again, I like these now on the daily chart, but I need to go take a look at the historical support and resistance levels on these stocks. I also need to take a look at the short interest. When are the earnings dates? Items like that. It's important. So I'll be going into that with members on the weekend commentary set to be released tomorrow. Willis Group Holdings. This is a stock that's on our screener as an extreme oversold stock. I don't know whether or not we're going to be able to pull the trigger on this. We just might. Nice doji formation here on Friday. It's not quite what I would call an extreme oversold stock yet. It just barely made it onto my screener. So we'll watch it, possibly trade it. Hopefully we get further downside. Huge volume here. I wouldn't buy the stock on Monday morning anyway. It's rather speculative. I'll go into the intraday charts. If they tell me something different and there's a possible trade, maybe one out of the day at extreme oversold levels, maybe we'll do it, but I doubt it on Monday. SATS, this is EchoStar Holdings. Great topping action here at the 32 level. You can see, just scroll back. Here's your some resistance here. So we're right in this overhead supply area. And the overhead supply is where previous buyers were. And they got burnt if they didn't sell up here. Look at this sell-off that you would have seen, that you saw in the stock if you held on, especially if you didn't use a stop-loss order after you bought here. You had a great rally. You let a profit turn into a loss, and these people just want to get out now, so this is going to be stiff resistance here. Up volume is dropping off, but again, we need to take a look at the weekly, monthly charts, and the intraday charts. And that's it, folks. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. If you're watching this on YouTube, please sign up for my channel to get the notifications of the Contrarian Report each Saturday. If you're watching this on the website, please send me your email address, and you'll get the notifications of the Contrarian Report each week. And take advantage of the 14-day free trial offer, folks. Prices have to go up soon. My expenses are just going through the roof with this build-out and the new technology that we're using. So if you have any questions, please shoot me an email, and look forward to speaking with you. Use your stop-loss orders. Don't react to the knee-jerk reaction. Please watch this video twice. These other sites that you go to, Guerrilla Trades, all they'll publicize are their winners, not their losers. Ask them about their losers and how they learn from them. That's how you interview somebody that you want to do business with, how they learn from their losses. And we learn from our loss here. And I will talk to you soon. Have a great trading week, folks. Bye.